Yay!
Andrew.
Yay!
Andrew.
Yay!
Evelyn.
Yay!
All right.
Evelyn! 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 Woo!
Really get used to that.
Now we're going to do a Q&A session. So I am going to ask Evelyn some lightning round questions, and so she's going to answer them for us. So first, Evelyn, what's your favorite color?
Green.
Mine too. Favorite genre of music?
You know, I don't have one. It's a little lame, but I've been so lucky to have people in my life who've been really passionate about music, and so I can listen to everything. The car ride over, I listen to nothing but gospel music, so I like everything.
Nice. Okay. Favorite author?
Shel Silverstein.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. Okay. Favorite pastime activity?
Eating and snacking.
Nice.
It's very Asian of me.
It is. Okay. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Yeah!
Actually, our dog lives in LA.
Favorite type of food?
Korean.
Nice. Okay. So favorite quality about Andrew?
He has basically no ego.
Very nice.
Yes, he doesn't even, this is roasting him a little bit, but he doesn't even really check the mirror before he leaves the home.
True. Okay. What does he do that annoys you?
He leaves his shoes all over the place, and also half-drunken bottles of water and beverages.
Right. Okay. Who's the better driver, you or Andrew?
Andrew, he grew up in the suburbs. I grew up in the city.
All right. So now the million-dollar question: who wears the pants in your family?
My instinct is to say me, but to be fair, I think this is boring. We both wear the pants. It's like one in each leg. We mostly get along, and we really don't have very many conflicts or fights. You know, so we both wear the pants. And it's also if we do have an argument, he's very hard to stay mad at because he's just too funny.
True. All right. Well, that was just to give you a little idea of who Evelyn is and who Evelyn and Andrew are as people. So we're going to dive into
Thank you, Katie. That was really fun.
Thank you for all the answers. So now we're going to dive into a couple more policy-related questions, and then you guys will have a chance to ask her a question too if you'd like. So just think in advance what you'd like to ask her. So my first question is, being President of the United States is a really high-pressure job. You know Andrew better than anyone. How do you think he'll handle that?
Well, Andrew seems to have another gear for high pressure situations. He goes straight into problem solving mode. So, you know, I've never really seen him in a panic, unless he can't find the diapers or something, you know, like, he's like, where did you put them? No, but he really, I mean, I've seen this over and over again. He's just what people call like clutch. You know, it's a high pressure situation. He just like dives in there and he's like, okay, what do we need to do? What's the problem? Like, what's at stake? Who are the stakeholders? And then he just gets to, you know, solving it. And I can speak to his track record. I think you can see it professionally. I mean, just he started when we met. He was running a test prep company, and he was preparing young people to go to business school. And they had all these aspirations around, you know, what they wanted to do with their lives, or you know, like. So they wanted to be like social entrepreneurs or business starters, and he saw that what ended up happening was that most of these really bright people, young people, were going to 5 places to do 5 different things. So there were like 5 different cities that all of these you know, college grads or recent college grads were going. There were all these like coastal cities, and they were doing one of 5 things, like going to finance or going to consulting or going to tech. And he said, okay, our brightest minds aren't starting businesses like they intended. So how do I solve for this? How do I make this path easier for them? And people told him, and he came up with this idea for Venture for America, which is modeled after Teach for America. So it's basically like a training and apprenticeship program where he was training young people to go to cities that really needed the support, such as Detroit and Cincinnati, over a dozen cities across the country, where they would work at a startup under someone so that they could see what it was like and actually learn those skills, and then ideally start businesses on their own. And then he had an incubator for it. So he ended up achieving this vision. But to start out with, people thought it was way too ambitious. They thought, why are you concerning yourself with this? And this was actually after the financial crisis. He was so sickened by what had happened that he felt like he needed to do something. He needed to do something positive and constructive. But it was hard. It was very hard. And he made it happen. And I feel like this campaign, this presidential campaign, is similar in that people doubted him. People said there was no way that he could launch a serious campaign and build this coalition, and he has proved everyone wrong. Mm-hmm. So if that's not a testament to how he functions in a high pressure, high risk situation, then I don't know.
He's probably the most positive, optimistic, energetic presidential candidate that is out there. So kudos to you. I don't know how you put up with it on a daily basis.
He keeps me on my toes for sure.
Okay, Evelyn, what former First Lady do you admire, and what kind of First Lady would you like to be?
I would say Eleanor Roosevelt, and it's because I used to be kind of obsessed with her when I was little, which is so unrelated because who knew that I would be, trying to step into her shoes. But I remember doing a book report about her when I was in grade school and just thinking that she was amazing. She was brilliant, she was compassionate, and she was hardworking. She broke the mold of what it means to be a first lady. She actually gave speeches and wrote columns. She even disagreed with her husband on certain issues. She was a major civil rights activist before it was popular. So she had so much courage. She took these risks to try to make a difference in people's lives. And she's just such a role model, even today, right? Mm-hmm. She's considered, I would absolutely want to take a page from her book. And I feel like I would take the office of First Lady very, very seriously. I would, I imagine, generally I'm a pretty hard worker. And it's funny because people have recently been starting to ask me, what would be my cause, like as First Lady, as if I could only choose one. And I'm like, well, as a mom, I'm always multitasking. Why can't I do it as First Lady? Like, do I have to choose only one issue? And there are so many things that I'm passionate about, given just, what we've experienced in our family and what I've experienced personally, around special needs and around poverty. That's something huge that I've become so passionate about advocating for or against. And also now sexual violence, and domestic violence is something that I don't feel like, we talk enough about, especially, this cycle, for whatever reason.
Well, it's really interesting because Andrew has been called sort of the most feminist candidate that's in the field today. And I think when you look at his policies, especially the freedom dividend, it really carves a pathway for a lot of women in particular, right? Giving them value where they feel like they didn't have value before. Right. Can you talk a little bit about your platform for women?
Yes, and I love the freedom dividend for women so much. First, I do want to agree with you that Andrew has always been a feminist. that is something that's always been, like, it's always impressed me about him, even when I met him. I think it has something to do with the fact that he went to Brown. But yes, I love the freedom dividend for women because, number one, it starts to recognize the work that, you know, I do and so many other caregivers, male or female, across the country. You know, right now it's, you know, we don't get it, we're not compensated for it. And we do give up a lot of things in service of our families, caregivers do. And it's funny that Andrew's the one championing this because he's a man, and there are so many women, unprecedented number of women in this election cycle. It's almost like I asked him, like, Andrew, I think you should run for president so that, like, my work at home can finally start to be valued, and you can start with $1,000 a month, and you know, and that's not what happened. This was all Andrew. But I want to get back to how transformative I think the dividend would be for women in particular. Not just because we often have, you know, the responsibility of caretaking, but, you know, women are, you know, there's so many single parents, single moms, and I don't know how they do it. They're like the heroes. You know, there's Andrew and me, and we have such a wide support network, and we still find it difficult. And then there are women who are trapped in abusive situations, and they do not have the financial independence to walk away. And I know there are a lot of issues involved in that situation, but money should not be the reason why they need to feel like they have to stay. And I also want to talk about generally poverty. You know, I feel like poverty is this almost this like forgotten issue. Nobody talks enough about it, and poverty is a woman's issue. If you look at the statistics, poverty is a woman's issue, and we talk a lot now about women's issues around and things that are very important, around equal pay, around paid family leave, women in leadership, and a seat at the table. And these are all things that Andrew and I care very deeply about because they affect women like me and our friends and, you know, people, the women in this room. But we can't forget that there is an entire population of women out there, and I said, you know, a third of Americans live in poverty. 70% are women and children. So there's this huge segment of the population of women out there who, you know, they're not looking for a seat at the table. They are looking for food on the table. They're just trying to get by. And they are not, they don't have time, they don't have the bandwidth or the resources to advocate for themselves. They are voiceless. They are, I mean, I've been around now enough to see that they're not in the room. There's no one who is being a champion for them. And it's because they don't have any political capital. They aren't, you know, watching CNN. They're not on Twitter. They aren't organizing marches. You know, they are just struggling to get by. And I feel like they really need a voice. And it's a little crazy because I think the last voice that a powerful voice they had was Martin Luther King, who championed, you know, a basic income. And it takes like the tech-savvy Asian guy 50 years later to be that champion again, which blows my mind, but here we are.
And here we are. So that's what makes Andrew such a once-in-a-lifetime sort of candidate, and why I was pulled in from the beginning was because of his UBI, the Freedom Dividend, and what it means for folks that are on the fringe, right? And not just women, but
a third of Americans.
Seniors, right? They're so often forgotten, and we see so many of them taking on jobs now to survive. Right. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Okay, my last question before we open it up to the crowd is, you know, most of us, a lot of us are here because we see Andrew's humanity. I mean, when you say he has no game, he has no game. I mean, he's crying all the time. You have to tell him. All right? And, but you know what? We feel it. We feel why he's running for president, right?
You know, what's weird about that is Andrew really doesn't cry. Like, I've seen him cry more running for president than I have my entire life. So I don't right? Maybe one day when you run for president, you might find yourself crying a lot.
Well, with all the
but
DNC,
he's very human. He's very, very human.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. Okay, so my question is, so he lets it all out there. We also have the ability to listen to him in long-form podcasts, and a lot of us have, and I really appreciate him using that medium to express his views and policies. But maybe you could share something about Andrew that maybe we don't know, and get a little intel from you.
What don't you know about Andrew? I feel like he pretty much lets it all out. So what you see is what you get. Maybe what you don't know is that precisely that what you see is what you get. The kind of fun that he's having at home, all his crowd surfing and his singing and dancing and this is what we're missing at home. The joy that he brings to the trail, this is what we're missing out on at home, and this is why I'm so appreciative of the fact that he is accomplishing what he set out to accomplish, because at least then it's having an impact, and it makes it feel like, all right, what we're sacrificing is worth it. And so much of that is due to wonderful supporters like you, Katie. So thank you so much again. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Should we do just one?
If you want to do maybe one,
Okay.
but then I really want the chance for people to
Yeah.
take pictures.
So we're running tight on time, and so we want you guys to get your picture with Evelyn. So we're going to take one question. Hopefully my questions were good enough for all of you, but we'll take one question. How about you right here with the, shout it out.
Hey, I'm Elliot, and I work as a software engineer. I've been following Andrew on Twitter and enjoying that. I'm at Intellian on Twitter. My question is, do you have a Twitter account?
That's easy. I don't. In fact, I've never been on social media.
That's great.
But
Yeah,
I
okay.
might.
We're working on it.
Yeah, I think the team is working on it. So, thank you. That was very easy. Thank you.
They are pulling me inside. So I'm Andrew. I'm so sorry.
Sometimes people mistake.
Andrew is standing right here where Gus is in October, so he was here as well. We're gonna set a line through the kitchen, down the hallway.
But everyone please stay where you're sitting for now.
Oh. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's right. We have a closer.
All right.
I want to introduce Brian Yang. He's also one of the, no relation to Andrew, but one of the original supporters as well, and also a member of the finance committee.
Brian.
Yes. Hey everyone. As she said, I'm Brian Yang. I'm with the campaign. I'm a regional fundraising director. I'm here to close with the ever important message that we need more fuel. It's working, guys. I can tell you. I just got back from Iowa. I was there for 2 weeks. You guys know in about 48 hours, it's going down. So first thing is, if you have Iowa relatives, Iowa classmates that moved to Iowa, ex-boyfriend, girlfriends, I don't care. You are calling them tomorrow morning before the Super Bowl kicks in, and you're going to tell them to go caucus for us. We had a filled 1,200 seat, or maybe standing room only, Des Moines Town Hall tonight. It was energetic. It was loud. You guys know that Andrew polled #1 with the youth of Iowa. Everyone on the ground there, the awareness, 3 million people know Andrew now. The awareness is high. The ads, your money is going to the right place. Now, we need more. So if you wouldn't mind, and if you go home and tell your friends and, keep doing this for days to come, we're actually, making it easy. So tonight you can donate more, either on the link that you used already to get in here, and thank you again for being here, or the folks in the merchandise table back there can help you. And there is merchandise which goes to the campaign. So if you're not wearing a math hat, everyone should be walking out of here with one or two. And so that money, again, we ask, we know it's a tough ask, but it is fuel that fuels our fire and gives us the runway that we need to go into New Hampshire and then Nevada or South Carolina. I forgot the order. And then it comes here, right? The early states and the primaries on March 3rd. So we want to see you guys back. We're going to throw more fundraiser events. Please, this is only, we're only as strong as you guys help us out to be. And you guys have been doing a great job, obviously. So please, if you can get back into that wallet, help us out. It's going to, again, Monday is going to be a great indicator. We feel very optimistic. The people they love Andrew. He's on everyone's short list for a lot of the undecideds. I think we've got a good chance to make a statement. So I'm not going to keep talking. You know what to do. We're going to get into the selfie line, which is going to happen over here somewhere. Jacob right here with his hand. So thank you guys again. Yang Gang, we love you guys so much.